Hey guys, Vern here from the Hack Check podcast. I'm extremely excited to announce that we have partnered with Ligum Fight Gear. Ligum Fight Gear is the #1 premium brand for all of your fight gear and fight equipment. Everything from gis to rashies to this hoodie I'm wearing right now, gum guards, shin pads, even treadmills, you name it. Make sure you visit www.ligumfightgear.com. Link is in the description. As a special gift to all of the viewers, I'm giving you 10% off of all of your purchases, big or small. Use the discount code HACKCHECK10 at checkout for 10% off of all of your purchases. That's ligumfightgear.com. HACKCHECK10 is the discount code. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Hey everybody, welcome to our weekly MMA talk show called Chokes and Eye Pokes, where we discuss everything MMA, combat sports, and boxing related. I'm your host as always, Vern. I'm joined by my co-host, as always, Jack. Jack, interesting pay-per-view we saw this weekend, UFC 294.
Yeah, it felt like it could have been two separate cards, honestly. I'm quite bleak that the co-main event wasn't its own main event, honestly. But really good card.
Yeah, it would have been nice to see Kamaru and Hamzat go 5 rounds.
Yeah.
That would have been told us a whole lot more.
Yeah, exactly.
We've got a whole bunch of what ifs now.
Yeah.
Hypotheticals, but yeah. Interesting card. First off, obviously we picked the main card. We didn't do the prelims.
Yeah.
But did you see
Magomedov?
Yeah, his debut.
I was not impressed, honestly.
No.
Yeah.
It's a different story when you get to UFC. But before we get to his actual fight, did you see what he looked like on the scale?
Yeah.
Did you see the Instagram versus reality?
Yes, yeah.
I don't know. What do you reckon that is? Do you think that's USADA, or do you think that's just
off the juice for a while?
Do you think all that? And I think they doctored his photos quite a bit, you know.
Yeah.
But even when you look at his videos and from his old fights, he looked pretty jacked in those videos. So and when you watch him actually fight, he looked pretty jacked. So either he was fighting smallish guys, he was on the juice, or a combination of the two.
Yeah.
Probably a combination of the two.
Probably a combination. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't that impressed either, to be honest. Decision victory. Okay, look, there's nothing wrong with the decision victory, but just, I mean, the fight as a whole was not.
And how he was built. He was supposed to come here and like demolish everyone. Like it comes out 2 or something. Yeah.
Well, look, it could be nerves. I mean, you never know. And again, but like I always say, whenever I see someone coming new to the UFC, I'll never pick them to win.
Yeah.
Unless it's somebody that maybe has a huge history before them, or maybe if they're South African and we know them a little bit better. Because it's just a different story when you enter the UFC.
Yeah. Best of the best. Yeah. But he apparently wants to fight in China at the end of this year. He called, or he named Dana White to be like, hey, I want to fight in, I think, Shanghai. That's a card, I think December card.
Yeah, well, good for him. I mean, that's what Dana White likes. He likes people that want to fight. So, I mean, he's expecting people to do fights with broken limbs and 7 weeks notice. So, you know, that's something he'll like. Especially also now, I think in China, things aren't sanctioned. So if he had any health issues, which I don't think he did, but he would be able to fight whether he had any issues or not. I mean, it's like Bisping lost to GSP and then fought 12 days later against Gastelum.
I didn't know that. That's hectic.
Yeah. So, anyways, off to the first fight. We had Magomedov won his fight against Muin.
Yeah.
What did you make of that? It was nice and quick.
Yeah, super. I mean, like very impressive. Very impressive. Yeah, we had him to win. Like it made sense. It made he was a bit of a lamb to the slaughter, honestly. Yeah, just stylistically, to me at least.
I don't know. I mean, Muin is decent. I mean, he was a sambo champion, combat sambo champion. I didn't think he was going to win. I mean, we picked Nurmagomedov. I said Magomedov, but it's actually Nurmagomedov. But that guillotine is nasty. It's almost like a combination of a guillotine and then he's got like a DAS grip. That thing was on, dude. And then the referee was on the wrong side, so he didn't see the tap, so he went out.
Yeah,
I mean, went out for a while.
I'd be a little bit pissed if I well, actually no, I mean, but shame.
You can't. I mean, if he looks back, he won't. I think he was disappointed afterwards. I think he was disappointed because he lost more than
he got choked out.
You know, getting choked out. So okay, we got one over there.
Yeah.
Aliskerov also won his fight.
Yeah. I mean,
as expected.
There was also Fight of the Night. Well, performance bonus.
And, I was going to say, it can't be Fight of the Night. It was so short.
Yeah. Really good. I mean, those two, I think Saeed and Ikram, they got so much like passion from the crowd in particular. Like, because they had a huge following. Like the Russians and UAE guys coming into this fight were like, yo, it was different.
Everyone ending with an Ov or Ev. I went 7-0 on that night. So
yeah.
No, I mean, I thought TKO. I think I picked Iran actually second round, but I thought TKO. But that was borderline KO to TKO. I mean, that was impressive. So a lot of people I saw was saying that he, on the form of that night, would have beaten Hamzat had they gone again on the way that Hamzat fought that night. Which is an interesting thing because he is rising up the ranks quick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously too early days for that to have any talk of that, but I mean, if he continues going on a tear like that, the story is there for the UFC.
I don't agree though. I don't agree. I think Hamzat, up until the point, I mean, his last two, I mean, he did ragdoll Kevin, but like his two challenges, what's that? That's Usman and Burns. So those are like two top contenders. You know, it's like anyone's to still walk away with wins over them, even though they were both decision. Like
even though I weight bullied them, but anyway.
Yeah, I think that's maybe a bit too much of a stretch to say Ikram could be on that level just yet. Yeah.
No, fair enough. And then we had the odd, I mean, this is something we're going to have to talk about in detail, but Johnny Walker and Ankalaev, no contest.
Yeah.
First of all, how stupid is it to knee someone on the ground? I mean, he knew that Johnny Walker was on the ground and he still went for the knee. I mean, I know Johnny Walker's tall, like they were Johnny Walker's on his knees. He was almost the same height as Ankalaev, but I mean, come on, dude. You could see.
Yeah. Who do you think was winning the fight? Or before we get into the knee, who do you think was winning the fight?
It was close. I think Ankalaev probably pushed it more. That was about it. But you could see. I mean, again, it was so obvious, and it was a heavy knee. I mean, Johnny Walker took a heavy knee to the face.
Yeah. It's weird that that's actually it's weird that that's illegal. Like, because there are a few moves that maybe should be illegal before that.
Like what?
I would say like elbows on a grounded opponent more than knees. Like when you're doing ground and pound and you're using elbows, like there's that rule that you can't do it straight down, right?
12-6.
Yeah, it's like that's a bit arbitrary.
Yeah, you can't do 12-6 elbows. Well, actually, you can't do stomps to the head, but you can do elbows.
Yeah,
which is also weird. I feel like, I mean, I think soccer kicks are brutal, but you're not allowed to do soccer kicks, but you can elbow somebody and slice them open. And again, for some reason, they've determined that this motion is more hectic than doing a motion over like that, or even just a normal motion like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how they determined that, but look, a knee to a downed opponent.
I think it depends on what down is at that point. Like if they're lying on the floor and you just like, you go in with a knee, then sure, that should be illegal.
I mean, I don't know how to. A knee is much worse than an elbow, I think, because of the amount of impact that you can give. Same as a soccer kick. But at the end of the day, if you're standing straight up and someone does a flying knee, is it really any different? You have a better chance of defending yourself. I think that's what it boils down to, is how good a chance do you have to defend yourself. But if somebody gets you in a crucifix and rains down elbows on you, you have zero chance of defending yourself. So, I mean, that argument goes out the window too. And then it's also gonna open up a conversation about whether you hitting to the temple is no worse than hitting to the back of the head. Like, it's a whole can of worms that I guess they don't really want to go into.
Yeah, but also like, so at the start of the fight, Johnny Walker did that like pretty gnarly. Well, I don't think he didn't get it, but that
the flying knee.
Yeah, the flying knee attempt. I think they're all in the same category. Like that flying knee versus the knee that Jorge Masvidal gave to Ben Askren, like that, they're all the same category. Like I don't understand how Ben Askren was in a better position than Johnny Walker, and why Johnny Walker it should be illegal. You know, because you can still defend yourself. I mean, unless you're like completely grounded, so both your hands are like holding you up or something,
Yeah. No, look, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a fight. You're looking to go and put someone's lights out. And I mean, there's harsh ways to do it. I think with the Johnny Walker situation is because he's up against the fence, firstly. Secondly, he's trying to get back to his feet. So if a knee does come in, he can't raise his hands because he's sort of being pinned in there. But again, you're being pinned on the ground as well when you're being elbowed and punched. So I don't know. It's a tricky one. But nonetheless, it is illegal. So it was an illegal knee. Then you could see Johnny Walker straight away go, hey man, I was down. Like, why'd you knee me? And then like Uncle Lab's walking away and he's like, sort of weird. Johnny Walker's a weird guy. He's like, you need me. See, my knee's down, like fully coherent.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden that random doctor that had issues earlier in the night comes in and asks him, do you know where you are? And all of a sudden he's like groggy. I don't believe he was actually groggy. I don't think he was concussed. I don't think there was anything wrong with him.
I think that he wanted to fight, honestly. I think that he just didn't understand what was going on because it was also really quick. It was like, and English, he's still learning it,
No,
it's
dude,
like
he lives in Ireland, bro. Like, he knows English now. Like, he knows enough to know where are you, surely.
Yeah. But I don't know, I still give him the benefit of the doubt. I think he wanted to continue, I think that it was definitely an early stoppage. I don't think the stoppage should have happened.
Look, I think that the doctor should have given them 5 minutes. It's like they should actually get a doctor. I don't know if they need to have a doctor that actually practices in the country to then be a UFC doctor, but they should brief the doctors ahead of time. You know what I mean? Like, they should brief him and say, listen, there's 5 minutes. Okay, a doctor knows medicine and knows sort of protocols maybe in the medical field, but the rules are still the rules. There's 5 minutes for the person to recover. Okay, if you're concussed, it doesn't matter whether you do 5 minutes or straight away. But I mean, I don't know, to just do it straight away and be like, no, you can't continue. Ask another question, Yeah. Because apparently he said, where are you? And he said, I'm in the desert. I mean, that's not true. That is true.
Yeah. That is, I mean, Fight Island.
They're in the desert.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. But I don't know. The thing is, like, I still think he was very coherent when he got kneed, and he was coherent enough to tell Anki Live that he's on the ground and what was wrong about the whole situation. If you're concussed, you're not going to have a clue. They told him to go back to his corner. He walked to his corner. He knew exactly where his corner was, and then basically forgot how to speak English or forgot how to answer questions all of a sudden. I think he was looking for a victory. That's my opinion. I think he was looking for a victory. And then when they waved the fight off, the honorable thing to do was to pretend like you want to carry on fighting.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Once the fight is called off, you're not going to carry on fighting. So don't try to push the referee out the way and say, let's go fight again and pretend like you want to fight.
Yeah.
Come on.
I hear what you're saying. I hope that that's not the case. But yeah, they'll run it back. That was just a really poor call from the ref, though.
Yeah, and also it's odd that it's no contest if it's an illegal knee.
Yeah.
I don't get when it's a no contest, when they decide it's a no contest versus when it's a disqualification. Because Aljamain Sterling's one wasn't a no contest, it was a disqualification. It was for the title.
Yeah.
So how is that not a no contest?
Yeah. And the medical officer made some weird calls as well earlier in the fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I say. They should prep these guys.
They
should prep them ahead of time, and then there won't be any issues like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, no contest there. So yeah, I don't know what happens now. They ran it back or not.
I think they have to, honestly.
So we didn't get that one right. Obviously, it's a no contest. There's no one's going to call a no contest for a draw. Then we get to the co-main event, which was not a 5-round fight, which was a 3-round fight. Apparently, they offered Usman 5 rounds and he said no. He said 3 rounds.
Yeah.
He said he wanted the 3 rounds. Obviously, because he probably, rolled off the couch and
he thought that, Khamzat would have. I mean, because him versus Costa, that was 5 rounds. So, like, he probably was a bit scared that, he wouldn't be able to keep up because he hadn't been training for 3 rounds, let alone 5.
Was it 5? I don't know if it was. I actually don't know. I think it might have been 3, but not 100% sure.
No, I'm not sure.
I think they should. Conor McGregor said they should make title eliminators 5 rounds. I think they should.
I think all co-main events, honestly.
Yeah, this should have been 5 rounds. But any event, it was only 3. So first round, Khamzat comes out, takes him down at will, like easy takedown. Usman did look a little bit shaky. But even before that, if you just saw the size difference between them, Khamzat was much, much bigger. And took him down at will, got to his back pretty easily, and had the body triangle for a good 3-4 minutes. Was punching him, was going for submissions, almost got a rear naked choke, a standing rear naked choke, until Usman did, I think it's such a dirty move, dude. You just dive forward and let the dude hit his head. Like, you can break someone's neck like that.
But they both got knocked in that as well.
He ended up messing his own neck up, actually, because he landed on his head, because Khamzat had sort of braced for it.
Yeah.
But that, to me, that's such a dirty move. It's like slamming somebody when they've got you in a triangle choke.
Yeah.
It's like you can knock someone out in a triangle choke. You're not escaping the submission. You're just slamming someone on the canvas. Like, that's zero skill. In any event, didn't get to submit him and dominated the first round, which was scored 10-8 across the board.
Yeah, that's fair.
100% agreed with that.
Yeah.
Second round, Usman had a little bit more success. Probably on the balance of things. I mean, it could have gone either way. If you really have to give it to someone, you could probably give it to Usman. And then the third round, again, Khamzat dominated that round at the end especially. It was close in the beginning, and then at the end dominated, got the takedown, controlled him. To me, 29-27 across the board. I don't know how they got a 28-28 from one of the judges.
I would say first round, definitely Khamzat. Second round, Usman. Third round, I give to Usman. I think he did. He had a lot of success in the early at the start of the round. Yeah, I know that he. Maybe I'm being a bit biased. I mean, okay, there was Khamzat did take him down. So I guess that if you're a judge scoring that, then you'll give it to Khamzat.
Khamzat took him down and controlled him for 2 minutes, basically, in that round.
Yeah,
that to me is better than, they were kind of equal in the shots in the third round. It wasn't like Usman was piecing him up on the feet before that to justify him winning the round.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. But to me, if I was a judge scoring the UFC as judges have traditionally scored the UFC, I would give it to Khamzat. But my heart of hearts, which I listen to to who I think is the better fighter, I think it's Usman.
I think Usman's a more skillful fighter for sure. I think it's just, again, at middleweight, it favors Khamzat because he's naturally bigger.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, the takedown in the first round, he's just big.
He's way stronger than Usman.
Yeah.
I mean, way, way stronger. Usman's not a natural. I mean, Khamzat had a year and a half to. I didn't even realize it was that long since he last fought. It's been almost a year and a half that he's had to grow into the. Although, wait, was it a year and a half ago that they fought? No. It must have been less, but he was already on his way up to middleweight because he couldn't make weight the last time. Yeah. But yeah, Kamaru, I mean, if he'd taken I don't know though, like the thing with Khamzat is even though when he's faced adversity so far, he still hasn't, I mean, even with Gilbert Burns, it wasn't like Gilbert rallied and dominated the rest of the fight when Khamzat couldn't finish him. But it's clear Khamzat tries to finish in the first round, and if he can't, he faces some issues. Faces some big issues.
Yeah. But I don't know, from that fight, Usman, I just like him more and more the more he loses, honestly. Like, I wasn't that big a fan when he was the champion, but after he lost to Leon, I was like, okay, cool. He's humble. And then he lost again. I was like, okay, cool. He's a good oak. But now, I don't know. He's one of my favorite fighters. I
just don't know where he goes from here.
Yeah, same. I think it would be nice to see him stay in the middleweight division. I don't know if there's anything in welterweight left for him.
There's no fight. No, there's no fight for mid-welterweight.
Bilal, that would still be nice, but I don't know. Bilal's probably going to go for the winner of Edwards Covington. Probably.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. The thing is, Usman, depends how he carries the weight at 85. He's 36, so for him to now go up a weight class at 36 is a bit tricky. I mean, he would be a very small middleweight like he was on the weekend. And do you really want to go fight like a Jared Cannonier that's got a very similar style to you? That's going to dwarf you. I mean, Jared Cannonier is big, much bigger than Khamzat.
Yeah, he's huge.
I mean,
he's huge.
Let alone even like a Dricus or somebody like that.
Paul Craig, imagine that fight. Yeah.
Never. He's too. I think he's too small. Weight class exists for a reason. There's a reason why Conor McGregor was ultra skillful, but there were way more skillful fighters than him at featherweight.
Yeah, and
he was able to win because of his weight.
Yeah, that's true.
He's not a weight bully per se, but Habib, same story.
Dustin Poirier as well.
Dustin Poirier, all these guys, weight classes exist for a reason. Even Kamaru was ultra skillful. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, against a guy like Colby Covington, it's a battle of strength in those small exchanges, and ultimately,
yeah.
So okay, I got that one right. So what's that? 3 out of 4, and then we had the main event, which was very quick and very, very surprising. Volk got KO'd out from a head kick in the first round by Islam. Just very sad to see. Very, very sad to see. I mean, congratulations to Islam. And I mean, it was something that they'd seen as a gap to exploit, but very sad to see. Very, very sad to see.
Yeah. I think range, the way that Islam dealt with the range in that fight was so impressive. Like how he knew the range that Volk is dangerous at, and if Volk tried to close it, then you go for the clinch and keep him there and like win the battle in the clinch. And then when Volk got out and just try to manage his space so that, maybe he's at the kind of the tail end of his strikes, then that's when he went for the kicks. And just really impressive management of space of the guy. It was really good.
A couple of shots to the back of the head, but I think Volk was already groggy from the head kick.
Yeah.
And then there were a huge number of shots to the back of the head. I actually, as it was happening, I was thinking, well, that's a little bit, couple too many to the back of the head. But I mean, Volk was already out at that stage. And then when they pulled him off, Volk was pretty much out on his side.
Yeah.
So Islam retains. I got that victory as well. So I got 4 out of 5. So I'm the winner for this week. So your reign lasted a very, very short time. So I'll be taking what's mine once again. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Don't stress about it.
Yeah. I'm not. So I never do. I'm having fun in here. So yeah, overall, what did you give that card?
I'm like relatively high, 7.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably 7.5. Yeah, it's a good card. I think the first 2 fights were very entertaining. The Johnny Walker story, okay.
I still like the fight before, like flying knee. It was like an entertaining fight. I think that's why it's like the biggest shame for me that it ended early.
Thing is, though, is Johnny Walker starts well, but he never does. It's just can't last. And Uncle Live grows into a fight, so that's as good as it's gonna get for Johnny Walker, I feel.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still, if you go watch it back, I still think he faked it. I'm gonna say it. I think he faked it. Even if it's to some small extent, I think he knew where he was.
Yeah.
He knows he's in Abu Dhabi. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, he was just saying, to get the DQ.
To try to get the DQ and then say, no, let's fight again. And, afterwards, it's kind of like the people who make the most noise. There's that saying about the people who make the most noise are usually the most scared or something like that. He's making the most noise afterwards, like he wants to fight him again, like I'm not scared to fight you. So anyway, 7.5 from my side. Good card overall. So just a spin-off from UFC 294 now. The first thing is that middleweight title picture.
Yeah.
So Hamza Chimaev and Kamaru Usman were number 1 contenders. Or was a number 1 contender, title eliminator, whatever you call it. But Hamzat came out afterwards and says he broke his hand either in the first or the second round. I think he said the first round, which meant he couldn't. And that's also half the reason why he was so timid in the second and third round, apparently.
Yeah.
So he was supposed to fight, or he is supposed to fight for a title. I don't know, he might still. If his hand is broken, you could be looking at a month or 2 out. Okay, that takes you to December. Then he's got to still recover and he's got to come back and start training, but he's got until March because March is when Ramadan starts. So he won't be fighting then. So essentially he's out because, I mean, he's not going to fight with a broken hand, surely. Jared Cannonier, if you go down the list, Adesanya is gone because he said he's going to take a break.
Yeah.
So I just realized something, but I'll get to it in a second. I just realized something that might happen. Cannonier's gone because apparently Cannonier got offered the fight with Hamzat.
Yeah.
But tore his ACL like literally an hour afterwards. After he got the call, that's what he said. An hour later, he tore it. So he's out. Everyone else, I mean, Vettori, whoever you name on that, the rest of the list is out because they're coming off a loss or they're too low ranked or whatever, or they're not in contention. So that leaves Dricus du Plessis, who I originally, was making the case for. I released a video on Monday saying Dricus should fight for the title. And it just dawned on me now that the UFC might be hard-headed enough to say, Izzy, don't take a break. You can fight Strickland again in a rematch. I actually never thought of that.
Yeah.
Because think about it this way. So if you look at Dana White is so stubborn. If Dana White says something along those lines of, how I feel about people who dodge fights.
Yeah.
He said that about Dricus, something to that extent. Not his exact quote, but that was kind of what he said. He said the same thing about John Jones for years. I've said this before. He said that John Jones for like 2 years. And then they were short on heavyweights. There was no one to challenge for a title, really. They needed a superstar at heavyweight after Ngannou left and Stipe lost. They were forced to get John Jones back. I don't think they would have got John Jones to fight for the title if that scenario never played out the way it did. On top of that, GSP. How many years was GSP out? And Dana White was like, "Yo, if you don't want, I've got a saying: if you don't want to fight, you're probably never going to happen." And that. Bisping won the title. I don't know exactly what happened, but GSP decided to come back. I don't think there were many contenders. They were kind of forced to bring GSP back. The bottom line is, when they don't want to have something happen, they won't make it happen.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
So now that they've said that about Dricus, I don't know that he's going to get the next title shot. I originally thought that, and I like I said, I put that video out on Monday, but I've got a funny feeling they're going to say to Izzy, you want your shot back? You've been calling for a rematch. Here we go. We can justify this. Khamzat's out. Cannonier's out. We have this narrative that Dricus doesn't want to fight. So you can come in and you can have the title shot.
Yeah. That would be super tragic, honestly. Because I think the Dricus fight, that makes the most sense now, especially with Cannonier being out. That was kind of like how it should go in my mind, is like Dricki and then maybe Cannonier, but then obviously like Khamzat above that. But if everyone else is either injured or coming off a loss, it's the only one that makes sense. With Khamzat, I don't know. I think that he can actually make that timeline. Like if his hand heals fine, he can like fight in January or something, or February. But I don't think he needs to. I think that it's not that smart for him. Like I don't see the benefit of not just waiting till it's healed properly. But I do think that's maybe like a decision that his camp will have to make.
It's a stretch, eh? January is a stretch.
It is.
Because for him to fight, he can train, sure, but he can't use his hands.
Yeah.
So zero boxing. Yeah. You can't do grappling, can't do anything. Yeah. And that grappling fitness, particularly grappling fitness, is something you don't want to lose.
Yeah. And I don't think he should. And I think with that fight deal, I think maybe he goes in it with like two mindsets, So now he's getting paid a fuck ton of money to fight. It's like maybe do you think about your longevity and like not have such a short turnaround, maybe like just heal up proper, and then you're gonna make your money, or like do you just want to like make your money now?
Yeah. I think if okay, so I don't know the answer to that question. You could be right, but I just think when you're the champion, you get a percentage of pay-per-view revenue as well, so that's more money for you. Also, let's be honest. When Izzy was the champion, he was a dominant champion. I mean, yes, Strickland dominated him, and people can say, "Yo, let's have the conversation. Izzy was never that good, and his style this and his style that." Let's be honest. It's not like you thought, I'm going to fight Izzy and it's a given to beat him. Okay?
No, yeah, absolutely.
Strickland, on the other hand, I do think people think it's a given to beat him. Certain people think it's a given to beat him. He's had one impressive performance. You can say maybe two his last performance before Izzy.
Yeah, Umar.
Yeah, Umar. It was also Nurmagomedov, wasn't it?
Abus.
Yeah,
yeah, something I can't remember.
I forget it, but so there's a lot of hype behind him. Strickland beat him. So I don't think people look at that fight. I mean, Cannonier beat Strickland in the last fight. Okay, it was a split decision, but he beat him. Dricus would run through Strickland, I feel, even the Strickland that fought Izzy, because it's a completely different style. You'll take him to the ground. Khamzat will take him to the ground. Khamzat's been owning him in training, supposedly. I mean, he went to go train there. So I think they should rush to try to get that title, because then you're the champion. Then it's a situation where at least you've held the belt. So even if you lose after that, at least you've held the belt. okay, and you can get a chance again, say like I was a former champion, like I'm going to fight for the belt again. I don't think people should wait, because if they wait, there's every chance that they say to Izzy, okay, listen, dude, one more fight, take the fight, retire, ride off into the sunset, do your thing.
Yeah.
And then what?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. We'll see. It's exciting though. What a crazy division. Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think that the fight to make again, but see, the reason why I think they haven't made the Dricus fight and they've been staying away from him is making that fight is because, one, there's a lot of hype behind Khamzat, so they were waiting for Khamzat to hopefully take the title.
Yeah.
But two, Dricus doesn't talk enough.
Yeah, that's true.
As sad as it is to say, your ability doesn't do all the talking for you until a certain point. So he needs, I still say it. He should have gone to Abu Dhabi and said, this title's mine. I want the title shot. I'm the rightful number one contender. Like, made a big noise. He should go on a bunch of podcasts and be like, Strickland, I'm calling you out. Don't duck me. You're scared. Like, start pushing that kind of narrative. So Strickland goes, you know what? I'm not scared of you. Let's fight. And then they get the fight done. Because at the moment, if you're just sitting back, staying quietly, that will blow over. Like, the UFC will be like, okay, he doesn't sell fights. Let's just leave him in the back burner.
Yeah.
Look how long it took Khabib to get a title shot, because he doesn't trash talk.
Yeah. And there is like a time limit on that as well, because like I think Leon Edwards was super lucky in terms of how he managed to pull that off. You know, like, where you're the most logical choice, absolutely, but yeah, I don't know. Unless there's really no more options, then they're not going to let you fight.
And the thing is, the way it's going now, they might take somebody. They won't take someone from welterweight because Leon Edwards is too small. But they might have someone drop down from light heavyweight and challenge. I mean, if Jan doesn't get any more, if it's possible for Jan Blachowicz to do it, to make the weight, they might even be like, you know what, Jan's a former champion at light heavyweight, let's give him a shot at middleweight.
Yeah. If
you don't jump at these opportunities, like, okay, Dricus should have never jumped in there at 7 weeks, let's be honest. But he should go and make his opportunity right now and start calling people out and be the bad guy and fly out to these places and be like, I'm the rightful number one contender.
Yeah, because there's another fight. I can't. It's not the next weekend. But I saw it on UFC's website. It's Brendan Allen versus Paul Craig soon, and that's going to introduce a new, like, very legitimate contender. Like they're going to start coming through the woodwork. Like,
American.
Yeah, Bo Nichols also, like, it's such a crowded division. You don't have the time to waste.
You don't have the time to waste, and South Africans have been super unlucky. Look at a guy like Don Madge, 2 ultra impressive performances in UFC, 2-0. His career just came to an end in the UFC. So, I don't know. And Bo Nickel, with all the hype behind him, American wrestler, this, that, and that, if he just gets one more win, they might be like, oh, well, Bo Nickel looked good, let's get him.
Yeah.
He's an all-American wrestler. So, you know?
Yeah.
But it would be interesting to see, like I said on Monday, it would be interesting to see how the UFC treats the situation, because Jared Cannonier pulled out of the fight, torn ACL. Is he now someone that doesn't like to fight? Khamzat Chimaev has a broken hand. Okay, we'll see if he called out, he said, Strickland, you're next, I'm going to finish you and whatever. Yeah. And then it's like, you didn't even finish a 36-year-old, washed up welterweight that literally rolled off the couch 10 days ago.
Yeah, honestly, I think Dana's just on too much nose candy or something. Like, I don't understand.
I'm not saying that. It's like, not the thoughts of the channel. No.
Like, I don't know why there's a weird vendetta against certain fighters. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't get it, you know.
It makes you wonder what happened behind the scenes, you know. Maybe something didn't happen behind the scenes, but something's weird about this whole situation. You know? Could you imagine that, like, Robert Whittaker was a former champion? Robert Whittaker's deserving of the title shot. I honestly think, and I don't know if Conor McGregor said this or who said it, but I think they should still make, because Khamzat didn't really prove much. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a no-win fight for him, the Kamaru one, now that you think about it in hindsight.
Yeah.
Because he was pretty dominant. I mean, and people are still giving him shit about it. I think they should run back him and Costa, although Costa has pulled out of like 5 fights out of the last 8. But they're saying now that they should make Khamzat and Robert Whittaker.
I do not. I think to keep Rob, if I see Rob fight another person, it'd be cool to see him fight Jared Cannonier, because I think that makes a lot of sense. Because if Rob wins, I think he's right back in it, and if Jared wins, then I think it's more of a case, because at the moment I don't think he's got that strong a case, in my opinion.
Mind you, I mean, the most significant strikes in a middleweight fight against Vettori, who was pretty impressive to that point. I mean, he does have a case. But Jared Cannonier is out for at least, a year, surely. At least 12 months now. Torn your ACL.
He's 40. Oh, sorry.
He's 40. Yeah. He's 39 or 40. So he's out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still think that it's not going to happen this way, especially with the big money deal that Khamzat signed. I think they're going to push him to the moon. They've already done that. But I think him and Whitaker make sense. If Costa could make it, I think Costa's still a good test for him. Because I honestly think Costa would have beat him. I honestly think Costa would have beat him.
Yeah.
But listen, in this game, if you want to call it that, everyone gets found out eventually.
Yeah.
So
I just like that. I have not even thought about the idea of Robert Whitaker versus Sean Strickland. I've not even contemplated that. Can we just do that? I mean, I love you, Dirkus, but can't we just throw Rob a bone?
Listen, they might still do it. They might still say,
Yeah. Coming off
Robert Whitaker's down to fight. We have a last minute alter. This is how things could play out. Oh no, Khamzat versus Strickland. That's the fight to make. And then closer to the fight, actually in the background, they tell Robert, listen, Khamzat's not going to fight, but we're going to tell him we're going to tell everybody he's going to fight. You be ready. Yeah. Okay. We're going to say, we're 2 weeks out. No, Khamzat's injured. He re-injured his hand. And then you come back. You've had a full camp, but we're going to tell everybody you had 2 weeks notice.
Yeah.
And then we do it that way. Because that way they can be like, okay, but Dirkus wasn't training because he wasn't the one that was going to fight.
Big brain.
Yeah, that's a bit of a bold prediction, but let's imagine that happens. If it does happen, you heard it here first. So, yeah. So, well, let's see what happens with the middleweight picture. Volk, where does he go to from here?
Okay, so to me, does he stay at lightweight or does he go down? I would like to see him stay at lightweight just because I don't want to see him take the Topuria Holloway fight. I don't want that to break up. I think that's the most interesting fight for me at featherweight. It's more interesting to me than him versus Topuria. Topuria he's been built up quite a lot, but I don't think enough to challenge for the title. I think he's just fighting him because that's the best person at featherweight that he hasn't beaten yet.
So I don't know how long Volk has to take off. I think he's been suspended apparently. I don't know. But before this fight, he was apparently weighing 180 when they called him, 180 pounds.
Hey, hectic.
Yeah, so he had about 25 pounds to cut, which is about 10, 12 kilograms to cut in a day, in 11 days, which is not too bad, but that might have played into it. But you could see how soft he looked at the weigh-ins, he didn't look the same.
Yeah.
So that could have played into it. It could have played into his ability to take shots because it was just probably a draining weight cut. And then also the damage that he sustains from those shots because you can't take them as well as you would have if you were on a full cut. But that KO that's a damaging KO. That's not the type of KO you go, well, you know what? I'm going to come back in 3-4 months and I'm going to go and challenge whoever like I usually do. That's a KO where you need to take up huge amount of time off. That was devastating KO. That, make no mistake about it. He wasn't out cold per se, but that's a devastating KO. I just worry that's the type of KO that changes you and changes your career. And then he tries to jump back in too quickly and then he gets slept by either Holloway or Topuria. I actually think there's no, I don't want to say it, and it's sad to say, and I hope I'm 100% wrong, but I don't think there's a good path back for him in any of the divisions. I think that's the type of KO that changes you forever. So I think you need to take a long time off, keep training, doing all that kind of stuff, but take your time coming back.
Yeah.
Look at even McGregor rushed coming back. Okay, he looked good in that second fight against Holloway. But once you get knocked out like that, it will change you. And now his bar also chucked down.
Yeah.
So I think he should just take his time coming back. I think he should just stay out of both divisions for a long time. If he wants to go to lightweight, take your time growing into the division, but don't rush. Don't rush back.
I agree with you, but I don't think he's going to do it.
And I don't think the UFC is going to want to let him do it because he's getting there up there in age. I actually saw a stat that is quite crazy. Holloway's younger than Volkanovski.
Yeah.
So people saying Holloway is too old to try to go for another title run, but Volkanovski's the champion.
Yeah, that's kind of funny. Because Holloway's 33.
He's 32 or something. Yeah, 32, 33, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but fighting-wise, he's like 75. But anyway, I mean, you know, all the shots he's taken. But yeah, I think Volk should just take some time off now.
Yeah. But I would like to see him stay in lightweight rather. So
who's gonna fight though?
I don't know, there's some okay, wait. So wait. First, for my reasoning for him to not go to featherweight is he has nothing left to prove. I think he is the GOAT now. I think like there's nothing like there's no, you know, it's maybe a bit dangerous if you go back now, like after a KO like that. You know, it's like just let that be. You know, you're one of the greatest of all time. And then lightweight, I really don't want to see. Well, it's not. I don't want to see the Oliveira fight. I don't want to. I don't think it makes sense. I don't want to see Oliveira versus Islam. Is what I'm saying. That rematch. Like, we Islam as a champion, 4 fights. Then it would have been Volk, Oliveira. Like, can we not see him fight another person? Also, Oliveira hasn't earned a fight back. You know, he defeated Beneil in the first round. That was impressive, but that was one fight. You know what I mean?
So now my question to you is, did Oliveira not want to take fights? Pulling out 3 weeks out?
Maybe.
You know, if we're following that logic.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, I think Gaethje's the next. It's obvious.
Yeah.
It has to be Gaethje. We've seen Oliveira lose to Makhachev. I think it was entertaining, the thought of it, when they made the fight. And you have to see it through. So I was happy they made that fight because Oliveira is different. Like, he looked way vastly improved. Okay, it was against Beneil. Beneil's not Islam, but still, there was some intrigue there. Now that fight has not happened, make the Gaethje fight. Because for all we know, Gaethje could beat Islam. Like, he's got a real chance of beating Islam. Probably not like on the way how Islam's just, I mean, to head kick somebody like that, people thought he was just going to grapple the whole time, but to head kick Volk like that, I mean, the precision, the timing, everything. His stand-up is constantly improving.
Yeah.
I think he'll take Gaethje down and be able to hold him down there long enough if he wants to. Stay at range and outstrike Gaethje, I feel. So yeah, I think Gaethje is the obvious choice. And then if Gaethje wins, they'll probably do a straight rematch unless Gaethje completely like murks him. But then Gaethje and Volk is an interesting fight.
Yeah.
But especially now, I think Volk will get KO'd if he gets touched enough times. Like, out. My thoughts.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah, that division's actually so crazy. Gamrot as well, shame. Like, really good. And that division's just so stacked. It's ridiculous.
Sarukian.
Yeah.
You got Sarukian coming as well. Yeah, it's a stacked division. I wonder if Islam's going to stay. That's going to be the next big question, because he said ahead of time he's given Volk 2 chances to become a 2-weight champion. He wants his chance to become a 2-weight champion. But, man, Colby and Leon Edwards are scary prospects for Islam.
Yeah. It's size difference. Like, I think that's the thing. It's like, I think Leon is also, he's big for the division. Like, he's very big. And, like, Islam cuts a fuck ton of weight to get down to 155. It's like, it's going to be insane. He's not going to find the same success there, I don't think. There's no other real weight artist that I can think of in lightweight. Maybe I mean Charles he's very big for the weight class as well, and Dustin. But like, I don't know. It's there's something like crazy about Islam. Just the way that's such a big part of his toolkit. You know.
The thing about the weight classes is not just the actual like size of the people, like muscular, and how wide they are, but it's the range and the height. I mean, if you look at, for example, you look at like Usman, why he's not that good for 185 per se. It's because, I mean, look at the height difference between him and Hamza.
Yeah, he was towering over him.
I mean, even Izzy's super, super tall. Okay, Drickus is a big dude, but he's also quite, like, I mean, he's fairly tall for the division. Now you look at those guys, and if you had to put them at light heavyweight, I mean, even Jan Blachowicz was, I think, if I remember correctly, he was obviously much bigger than Izzy, but he was taller as well, more range. So that's also a big difference that you have to play, has to play in it. Now Islam isn't going to be more rangy and taller than Edwards, let alone stronger per se. He might be strong enough to compete with him. He might be big enough, but I don't know. I don't think so. I think it'd be a bad move. But then if he beats Gaethje, I mean, you do have other challenges. You got Sarukian. I mean, I feel like if you want to go and try get champ status, you need to at least defend the belt like 5 times. At least.
Yeah.
You can't be, I mean, he's defended the belt twice.
Yeah, but he just takes so long to defend it as well. Yeah. That's the thing. It's like
they fight once a year.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I don't. We had this conversation last time as well. It's like, I don't know. That's also such a, I don't know, just you can't hold up that division, the lightweight division. You can't and that division keeps on getting held up with like Khabib and Conor also hold it up. And like, just, you just need one active champion.
Yeah, someone that wants to fight a lot. And even Gaethje doesn't fight that often. Poirier was fighting fairly often, but then even then it's like...
Yeah. Charles actually did fight often.
Charles fought often, yeah, that's true. But then, yeah, he also lost fairly often. I mean, if Chandler like completely flatlines McGregor, they might be like calling for Chandler again. Him and Justin Gaethje had some words. But I don't know. Chandler's kind of over it for me, over the hill. So...
Yeah, this huge weight between like him and Conor is a bit much. It's like
they better pay him. They better pay him a lot.
Yeah,
it better be worth it.
But when did they do the Contender Series now? Like what, 4 months ago? Like
Ultimate Fighter.
Yeah, Ultimate Fighter.
No, ages ago, and they filmed it even longer back.
Yeah.
So I mean, they needed to get Conor's blood clean again,
but
I guess. So
if they had done it at that, like if they submitted these starter papers at that point, like they would have been able to fight now.
I don't think his system would have been clean now.
Yeah,
probably not. So what? So there's no event this weekend. I think that's pretty much where we can call it this weekend. A bit of a shorter show. It's the first time I think that's happened in a very long time that there isn't actually an event this weekend. So we'll be back next week to preview the UFC Fight Night. And we hope you guys enjoyed the show, and let us know what you want to see for next week's episode and what your thoughts are for the middleweight division, the welterweight division, and the lightweight division. As always, please make sure to like the video, comment, share it far and wide, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys again next week. Cheers.